Hello all, welcome all, friends, um, friends to be, ghosts, and who knows. Good evening all. I'm very happy to have here this channel. I'm learning, and I'd like to welcome all for those um, um, weeks of talking through the YouTube and then try to get my best and make things we can communicate and deliver the message um, um, at this present moment. First of all, and I wish all of you being safe, being well. These are very difficult times, and the motives and the purpose to be with you guys has been because the time that pandemic uh, moment. A lot of, uncertainty, a lot of, anxiety, a lot of, panic, and we don't know what's going on except be into the attitude and in place, seclude ourselves in place at this moment. I hope all of you doing well. And then that's the topic for today, which I'm going to bring that in three series and how to transform those difficult times, any difficult times, in our personal growth. I'm going to talk with you these new ideas under the umbrella, if you will, if I will, the Buddhism thought, the Buddhism philosophy. So, in many cases, from the Buddhism point of view, this is the time to ourselves to growth. It means going retreat and put into practices the instructions we have been received in relation and to growth into that. Most recently, last 2 weeks, or become 3 weeks actually, I lost my dear teacher, mentor, and guru, luckily, Gajah Rinpoche. So very, very touch for my heart, very, very, how they call, close to my heart. So it makes me thinking a lot. And this opportunity, the pandemic, I put those meditations to calm the mind. And now I will go to bring that, how to transform those difficulties into personal growth. I'll take this as a tee up for those new ideas and for bringing that in a much more broader situation. Then I like not as a means of any propaganda, but understanding where, how we get to that, how we really take this as a personal growth, what that means by that. I'd like to speak a little briefly about Juniper in such a way. So, how Juniper became and what Juniper stands for into this process. For many of you who doesn't know me, I am Seguro Rinpoche. And I'm born in Brazil, Rio de Janeiro. And in my classical education, I was electronic engineer. And into that, work into the computer industry. Masters into the programming and system analysis and to generate data processes and so forth. But at the same time, very interested into the healing traditions of Brazil through my own personal characteristic into that. I learn a lot. And from there, I had this connection with the Buddhism, especially the Tibetan Buddhism. And at the same time, I was an engineer interested in the mind. So that's why I decided to come to the United States in 1983, and was right after recognized for the head, the city holder of the Lama Tsongkhapa teachings, the Gelupa tradition. So the 98th Guiding Tripper recognized me as being a master of the Gelupa school. And I learned tremendous from this master, Lama Ganchen, like Rinpoche. The more I progress in my personal growth and altogether, and as being a Western interest in modern society, and I say, oh, this is not possible in the West. I mean, because the culture, the way to study, the way to thinking, and so forth. And then in the middle of that, I become also a Tibetan doctor, training into that tradition. And then I write my recognition, and I open a center in Berkeley, and called Healing Buddha Foundation. And I keep walking to that tradition, more traditional, into the Gelupa tradition. You can see it doesn't scale the way it needed to be scaled. And then in 2003, some of my closest students and the board members, we decided we'll bring the idea. In order to do that, we need to generate a new organization, a new school, really based upon this old tradition, the rich of that tradition, but focus into the modern culture. And that's where we have been serving. And from the school and the foundation created into 1888 in Berkeley up to 2003 was very much the classical, and then moved to 2003 to become a Juniper. That's the birth of Juniper, to bring that teachings not away from the culture, but embracing the culture and bring we going based upon those teachings. And to all of you, it is a culture of the Buddhism, the Buddhism tradition of meditation, and then really from that inner learning and growth, and the eyes we can be ourselves and grow into this world, especially in the world, into this moment like this. And that's where is the Juniper, what we're coming from, and that situation. For the Juniper is not to change your tradition. In other words, it's not you to go to the mountain, seclude yourself, don't have any family. No, it's to be in the world. Is indeed to keep your students all together, but the point is your mind, meaning to change the way you think, reasoning, and have the discernment how you live, how we create a sound community, a living beings, all together, new human beings. So, and that is the topic and the goal as we going developing with that channel together and to grow into that level. So the goal is into the personal growth. We're in the modern mode. I wanna send a 1 terabyte of the information to all of you instantaneously. What is that? Hold that view for a little while with us, and then we'll be able to understand. Happiness and suffering depends upon our mind, from our interpretation. They don't come from outside. They don't come from the others. All happiness, all our happiness, and all our suffering is created by ourselves, by our own mind. So the reason I said many terabytes, because there are many pieces we need to understand. Yes, we do have the influence from the environment. We do have influence culture. We do have many influences into that. But then how we handle those inputs, how those informations generate those mental impulses, which will build up our inner pattern and inner story. So, because the accumulation of those information coming, the others, is just the trigger points. But how we become and that suffering and happiness is depend upon our inner patterns, our inner stories, from our personal version of reality. So the approach we want to, the Buddhism view about that is the following. And then how we become, how we have that structure, we cannot change. Because since the life in the uterus, our tendency to distort that the natural impulses of joy, living, which are not named bad and not good, is what it is. But we don't know, we don't have the stimulus. And then from that stimulus, we start to create distortion in the form of personal versions, the way we relate it with. That's reality for me. Consequently, and I start to develop my pattern of behavior, our afflictive emotions. And sometimes it's difficult to get that out. We don't know how to do that. And we continue in this mode of creating and so forth and so on. It's difficult to recognize that, and much less to change. And that's the very thing. So in order to do that, we have to awaken our capacity through conscious experiences and actions. Then we can obtain our natural way of being, a natural way of acting, consequently, the natural way of becoming. So we must use that energy and the quality of our own vision to recognizing the way we act in everyday life. And then as we be able to use tools and knowledge and so forth and so on, we'll be able to recognize and, oh, I need to improve in here, improve our experience through the training of the mind. See, I start loading a lot of information to you. And then, whoa, how we start, how we'll be able to construct that. Into that training, there are 4 pillars which we want to do. And then balance the emotions, compassion, and wisdom. But in order to get those workout, those 3 factors being effective in my life, I need to put one of the major pillars at the beginning for the 3 others appears, which is the meditation. Meditation is the first step of that mind training. Then again, we ask, whoa, what is meditation? I heard so many methods, so many traditions per se, so many way of meditate. And then people ask me, how many meditations there are in, there are in this world? And I would say, well, how many beings thinking this world? Even some animals have some a little mental attitude, a little primary there, So, and then they say, how many? 7 billions? And people say, yeah. Well, then there are 7 methodology of meditation, because meditation just uses the mind itself. Now, meditation nowadays, everybody talking about the meditation. Meditation become a hype. So even though I am meditating every day, I have a lineage holder, but I'm not famous at all into this context. I don't have YouTube, my little experience, this and that, and I try to catch up into that. But one of the things I do have among my students for many years, they really know how to meditate well. Why? Because we really understanding what meditation is. What's the main focus of the meditation? The meditation is the act of concentrating on an object to empower the mind. Empower the mind to virtual activities, virtual qualities, per se. So, and then people meditating everything, in sky, this and that, but not necessarily you can have a very clear visualization, but doesn't mean that will empower the mind. And you have to focus into that. So, and that's what the meditation is about. And find the concentrating object was difficult, and then find the proper object will be able to empower the mind. And then in our tradition in Juniper, we divide 2 levels of meditation, and both is completely interrelated and depend upon each other. One we call concentration meditation. Is to maintain the mind on an object, to build that concentration. Consequently, will bring tranquility and will strengthen the mind. Because we need that strength of the mind in order to focus upon the analytical meditation. And the analytical meditation is the act of reflecting and reasoning on that topic that will improve, empower our mind. It means is improve our knowledge, improve our growth. The process is very simple. We do have 2 booklets. What is it? 2 here. I'm going to go into that one. And how to learn. Learn to meditate. It's very simple. I mean, if you go to the Amazon and you can put it into your Kindling and in your iPad, then you have it. Very simple. The process is very simple. The difficult is for us to keep ourselves into that mode and keep put ourselves into that level. So then let me go with you slowly into this process. One of the methodology always I repeat several times. So I will go in future encounters and meetings. you see myself repeating. Why? Because the more you repeat, the more you retain. The more you repeat, the more you retain. You know? And then one of the things I don't repeat much is my name. So therefore people say, who is this guy? I don't remember. I don't know. Fine, whatever it is. But at least the meditation I will repeat, you'll be able to hold. Don't need to remember me, but remember the meditation, do your meditation. I hope I come to to your visualizations. Now, in a more, how to call, funny image, because I never wear beard before, is just to educate to not touch my face because it's itching. I say, concentration. No, no, no. And then I maintain myself into that state. So, the basic structure of meditation, there are three parts into that. The first part of that structure is to the preparation. Into the preparation, there are 3 points I wanna address into that. One of that is time, and it's a classical one. How long I have to meditate? Because I don't have time, right? How long I have to meditate? I would say you have to make a commitment to meditate at least 5 minutes, but ideally is 10 minutes. And really 10 minutes. Find a place, that's the second point. The place should not have be disturbed and should not be, how they say, free from distraction, so speaking. And then the posture. Be relaxed, sit on the chair if you can't, or sitting across legs, and don't lay down unless you have a clinical difficulty. But try to be in a spine straight, the position straight, and so forth and so on. So it's very important for you to have that kind of, I can see the lights blinking here. And so I hope you guys don't have any disturbances into that video. But anyhow, so keep yourself the posture properly and in one way for you to be, how they call, relaxed, to be at easy. So that's very important for you. Let me close one thing here. Okay. See, it's increased. So that posture, because it's very important for you to maintain the mind and focus into that. Yes, the beginning, everything eats, everything, but try to avoid that. That's the reason, not more than more than 10 minutes, but not less than that. When the things your body start to get discomfort, doesn't matter. Focus on the object into that, but just maintain that posture, and to you, it's very important for you to pay attention into it. Find a clear place, setting cross legs, spine straight, shoulder relaxed, close your eyes, leaving a little light in one way to be, relaxed, and then put your hands and palm in your lap, and then just set your time, and then for 10 minutes and create this habit. It's very important into that. The second part into that meditation is to establish the object. See, I checked my forehead. Is to set the time. So we need to establish that object of meditation. It's very important. The nature of that object is very important. Why? Because we have a tendency to pick up any kind of object, to think that all those objects is good. Some objects bring peace, others don't. And then from the peace, bring dullness. and then other create agitation. The mind become agitated. So we need to know which are the proper object for us to have the quality, the consistency for the mind to be placed peacefully into that object. So, and then when we establish that, keep the mind into that object and make commitment with that object. That's my object, the concentration. I recommend all for the beginning for start, recommend concentrate into your breathing, inhaling as a healing, inhaling as a healing. So as you inhale, you see the sensation of the air into your nostril and in and out. See your lungs, you put your air through your lungs and then keep put that air all together in your lungs and keep in and out and so forth and bring that at that level. And then the crucial point into that structure, especially in concentrations, is to bring the mind back to that object. Because the mind naturally wanders. Keep going. Now we need to observe those distractions and bring the mind back to the object. The point is people say, I cannot meditate, it's not for me, my mind goes. That's exactly the reason we need to meditate. Mind's wander, bring the mind back. Mind's wander, bring the mind back. And that is the object of the concentration and is the purpose of the meditation. Naturally, by doing this, you bring more peace, more tranquility, more, joy for yourself and become very easy to do that. If you keep doing it and you see the benefits that rises to you, but you have to commit yourself with that meditation attitude, with those three structure, the preparation, that object, and bring the mind back to that object. Mind is wandering, bring the mind back to the object. So I mentioned, see, my repetition. We need to, balance the emotions, compassion from ourselves, for others, wisdom. This doesn't come this way. Come with such a quality of the mind, clarity of the mind, and then be able. And the fundamental to do that is to have a mind in which I have the potency to concentrate into the object. And that's one of the reasons the concentration meditation is extremely important. Simple, potent. That's one of the first lesson you have to learn into this path. The path is simple. The difficult is my commitment to stay on it. The commitment with the object. The commitment to yourself to learning. The commit yourself to create the habit. And then as you generate the habit, and you'll be able to change. So if you keep the mind into that object, will build up that concentration. The concentration naturally, by that wandering in the mind, become more peaceful into the object. And consequently, strength, because you perceive the distraction, you bring the mind back. And then you bring the mind back. Now, I bring the mind back. And then suddenly I'm sitting peacefully and doing that. By this end, let's do a little meditation. I want to put just 5 minutes for you to remember all those words I have said for you into that moment. Sit comfortably as you are there, not lay down with those. Watch me lay down, please sit or, or find a chair, sit on the bed, on the couch, whatever, and then do your meditation. I wanna concentrate in here, and for 5 minutes. one deep breath. Always I suggest when you finish, really take one deep breath and open your eyes slowly and bring back your attention for this environment and put it into that. So that was our first concentration meditation as we did. So then what is meditation again? Is the act of concentrating an object that empower the mind, that empower the thing. So during into the concentration meditation, the act of bringing the mind back, is as if you can hear the noise of the mind. Post office, confusion, stress, and this and that. I can do it. It is difficult. You can see that discursive mind altogether. Those who have been meditate with me and seen the class, always I said, and I have one student for a long time. I send him for meditate in a longer meditation retreat. I said, I can't do it. I sit down there. My mind is a cloud of confusion. Is girlfriend, is a pizza, is bank, is money, is this, is my parents, is all together. I can't do it. And then I say, yeah, but what's in the sentence? Yeah. And I don't know. But take a look. It's you. And then he wrote for me, draw for me something and put himself in the center. And everything created for the mind. So that's where into the concentration meditation, we'll be able to perceive that things because we can't. And then we'll become argumentative. We cannot listen. We cannot reflect because we have to express things. We get mad, we get upset. And everything disturbs us and make panic of us. So how you change that? Through the analytical meditation. And this is a topic which I'm going to develop with you guys, that our weeks and moving into that direction. Into the analytical meditation, we want to reflect and reasoning on topics that will improve our knowledge and growth. Things we need to refute, things I need to improve my patience, and refute my anger. So, and that's why we need to pay attention to it. And that it will be for this week until next week. By the way, see the noise in my mind? And I saw that before, but came to me, don't forget, I'll be there. So came to me. So for our Friday night live. So that's the Saturday night. Now it's a Friday night. You live. So with Sedu Rinpoche. I hope that will bring more people for us to get our Friday night. I'll see when that will charge up, want to get out there. I'm going to my bar, get my, So anyhow, so this is the topic for our next Friday. So what's the object you have to reflect in the topic? We don't have an answer yet, but you should reflect upon, think upon. Happiness and suffering depends on our mind, from our interpretation. They don't come from outside. They don't come from others. All our happiness, all our suffering are created by ourselves from our own mind. Let them be more specific, right? Happiness and suffering depend on my mind, from my interpretation. They don't come from outside, they don't come from others. All my happiness and all my suffering I create by myself, by my own mind, the way we interpret. I want to make a quickly statement, then you understand what I'm saying. We can break the leg. We'll feel pain, but not necessarily we could bring suffering. Pain, a lot of the time, is inevitable. But the panic and the suffering, I can avoid. But I have to have a mind able to hold that. So these are the topics we'll be able to gain an understanding. All that problem we had have since we start means when we've been conceived. All the problem I have, all the problem I have in the future as well, come from my negative actions or negative decisions, or from in a pattern, in a story. The lack of knowledge to understand, then emotion I put that, and then create more troubles into that. So nothing more beneficial than practice purification. Purification means is cleaning that up sincerely. It's not take a bath with roses and salt, rock salt, and whatever it is. No, you need to really to organize your mind. Then the perfect witness for that kind of a recognition, it is ourselves towards our inner potential. We have that potential. Then we need to bring the teachings, the instructions, the inspirations from the masters, which guide us, instruct us. And then, slowly, it's possible to purify my inner pattern and inner stories, which have been accumulated since the time we become our birth, per se. I don't want to go out like our birth. This opportunity to engage into this practice right now. You are in retreat. See, if I could say you go to retreat, I'll never be able to do. The virus come and say, you are great master, COVID-19. Bang, in your head. We are, yes, master, I am in retreat. Even our beloved, my granddaughter, my daughter, my friends, I can't. We communicate via the kindness of Zoom, into this process. We are evolving. Imagine if that happened, we cannot even know how people will into that. So therefore, this is a unique opportunity. And that we need to pay attention, the kindness of that situation, but basically those mass of wisdom to guide us to be able to gain that. And that is a very ancient tradition, because the meditation is not new, very old. And that was the real techniques where those masters become a master. Master doesn't born as a master, but they pursue the path to develop their well-being. And they didn't title themselves as a master. Is others might receive the benefits and then say, oh, please, man, teach me. And then instruction come. Because in the between, we need to remove so many rocks into that path, so many things coming to that. And that's the Prince Siddhartha Gautama, one become awakened, and people, oh, Bodhi, it means enlightened. Buddha, that become his nickname. The one who awakening from that sleep of ignorance, and then be able to see all the phenomena as they truly are, but not the way interpreted. And each one of us has this potential. But we need to engage into that path to eliminate our mental faults and obscurations, because we don't bring that clarity. Because the dissonance we had not having that. The meditation analytical will correct that. But prior to that, we need the concentration meditation. So this is it is, I mean, I don't know how to say more to increase your enthusiasm for that practices. That practices which really, that's the true purification, purify your mind and eliminate those sufferings and bring the mind of the trust. You have to trust that process. Have to have faith into that process. And respect for your own nature. And then we'll be able to understand all the problem I ever had come from my mind. Suffering and happiness. The way I act. The way I interpret. So if I put that into this context, certainly I'll gain that benefits. I will be transformed. I will create different body, different mind, evidently sweet and mellow speech, melodious speech. So become very inspired by that. So when we're talking about purification, we need to understand that purification is the method to training the mind. And then we transform that suffering into happiness. And one word you want to see with me for many times, the Dharma teachings, Buddha Dharma, is the teachings, the things we learn, because they are the protection. How protect? Because they become the subjects, the topics in which I will continue to consecrate, meditate, continue to focus. And then eventually, all my delusions, all my disappointments, all my unpeaceful mind disappear, and then give rises for a very peaceful and virtual state of mind. So, and that's where we'll be able to clean up that delusion, clean up that deception, and bring that into a real attitude into that. So, therefore, we need to have that analytical meditation. But in order to have that analytical meditation, we need to focus upon the concentration meditation and gain the clarity of the teachings, those topics in which we will reflect and reasoning and to improve our knowledge and growth. For this week, once more, is happiness and suffering depends upon my mind, from my interpretation. They don't come from outside. They don't come from others. All my happiness and all my suffering are created by myself, by my own mind. Meditate this that week, for a week. and we'll continue next week. Next, how they call Friday night, stream live. That is the topic for this week, and I like you enjoy, and then I point the times up, whatever it is, pass for the friends, and let them maintain this channel clean, vibrating, and alive for us, and to be a positive force in this world. Thank you. Be safe. Stay well. Be happy. And please have a long life.